You'd be surprised Americans can detect fake humanity in bagel advertisements. I know, right? Also, owning a house is like financial whack-a-mole. You know I'm right. If you get a chance, subscribe to the podcast today. I appreciate your subscription, your comments. Anything on the share side is good too. I appreciate all the help. Also on the show today, younger people hate confrontation so much they would rather finance a truck online than to tell the guy at Chili's they ordered mashed potatoes. I'm not even making this up. It's real. Now, not because the bagels were bad, not because anybody got sick, not because the Instagram captions were bad specifically, but they felt emotionally suspicious. What does that mean? Well, it means the bagel shop got in trouble because they used AI on their social media. People lost their minds, went off on them. We know there's a lot of problems with AI, but one of them is that AI writes everything like it just got out of therapy, and that's problematic. We could pick it out. Folks went off on the bagel dude. Something about these sesame seeds feels robotic. The owner admitted, I used AI to help me with this business. Because social media posts are something that AI really should be able to do. It makes complete sense. If you've ever been a business owner, a small business owner in America is currently doing the work of 9 people and a forklift. They need every advantage they can get. AI is supposed to save them time. It's what it does. That's the sales pitch. Yeah, well, it also writes like a substitute teacher that's trying way too hard, doesn't it? You know AI writing immediately. We are used to it at this point. We understand it when we see it. We don't fall for this. Experience the warmth of handcrafted elegance. Nobody talks like that. No human speaks like that. That's a scented candle description, It doesn't make any sense. And now, once you notice it, like you can't unnotice it. Everywhere. Apartment complexes, they can't stop themselves. You go to their website to try to find out if rent includes water, and suddenly you're reading nestled in the vibrant heart of modern living. Does the toilet work or not, Tiffany? Every website now, all of them, sound like it was written by an emotionally supportive microwave. My Lord, the dashes, come on now. The dashes have to stop. Crafted with passion, dash inspired by our community, dash elevated through experience. You sell tires. Couldn't you have just said we have Michelins? Come on, man, that's enough. And the pictures AI used to put out, I used them on this show too. They were hilarious, and that's why I put them out, because they were awful. You could spot the AI photos immediately, much like this one. You could see it. But with humans, it kept consistently getting humans wrong. I don't know how much you've done with it, but people ain't supposed to have 7 fingers. That's not the way it works. Smiles always look like the soap opera actresses. It was all weird. And all the AI people looked like they knew some kind of random secret about cryptocurrency or something, right? They had that look. The newer image stuff that they're doing, it's pretty dang good. But it really is good as compared to just a year ago. They look like cursed mall photos, but now you really have to zoom in like a detective. You got to be like, wait a minute. Now, if I get close enough, I see that that thumb is connected to the coffee mug, and that's weird. But other than that, it's gotten a whole lot better. What it's proved, though, I think at its core, is that replicating humans is hard because we're inconsistent, right? We say things wrong on purpose. Why is there a K in knife? I don't know. Who was just sneaking letters into words? Doesn't make sense to me. It's not really language. It becomes more like graffiti. Cursive? I had to learn cursive. They taught me this in school like society was one printer away from us having to hand sign the Declaration of Independence again. Yeah, I can make a capital Q in cursive. Sure, it's helped me a lot. Stop with this math stuff. I talk about it all the time. I'm anti-math for a reason. We still make kids do long division like they're not carrying a supercomputer in their pocket. Nobody at Home Depot is standing there going, hold on, Fred. I'm not ready to check out because I haven't solved for X yet. I want the leaf blower, but I have not solved for X manually. Fred, no one does that. We keep all these unnecessary human systems. Oh, and before you say that I'm too stupid to do math, that's probably a logical assumption. I don't blame you. But I am a meteorologist, so my guess is I've done a lot more math than most people. Maybe not than you, but than most. The only reason I'm not getting my master's in meteorology, and I shouldn't even admit this, but I'm going to, is because math theory's involved. And my theory about math is it sucks. So I decided to get my master's in strategic communications. Far less math, and certainly no theory of math. But back to what I was saying. We kept all those human systems because we're emotional creatures, right? We don't just want efficiency, we want familiarity. That's why the bagel shop got into the mess they got in. They weren't really mad about the technology, they were mad because it didn't feel human. And that's the danger with AI. We're awkward, we're specific, and we're all different. AI can write a sentence, but it struggles to sound like a guy who's exhausted running a bagel shop at 2 a.m. while he's typing a stupid Instagram caption that AI really could have done for him, but we humans ain't really into that. And that's human, and AI can't do that. But the fact that we can still recognize that there is a difference there is the most hopeful thing in the whole conversation, because we can still recognize that AI and human are separate. How long will that be the case? I don't know. Homeownership is just trying to figure out how to stop weird noises and writing the checks for it. That's it, right? Which renovations, though, and I've always wondered about this because I sold my house, but I got lucky. I sold it at a really, really hot time. There were some things that probably could have been done to it, but not anything real because it had just been completely renovated some 5 years before that. But I always wondered if I were going to renovate the bathroom and make it a little more me, would that bring back the money that I put into it? What renovations do you do? What renovations do you not? I figure the same thing in this little place that I live in, but basically I'm not about to spend money, putting Brasso on the pig. I'm not going to do it. I liked when I was renting because I could just pick up the phone if something broke and I'm like, yo, gonna need you to get here. Like, it's bad. It was probably not that bad, but it didn't matter. They showed up. Now when something breaks at my house, that's my personality for 6 straight weeks till I get it solved. Either I gotta fix it or I gotta pay $300 minimum to get it fixed. Nobody tells you when you buy a house that your entire Saturday becomes on and off, back and forth, trips to Lowe's and Home Depot. I used to like owning a house. There are some benefits. I love the big space. I'm in 425 square feet now. I don't really have big space. I don't have big anything. I'm not complaining because big space equals big projects, and those usually are expensive. It also equals a yard and yard maintenance. I like that. It equaled the garage. The garage I really liked about it, but it came with its own challenges, right? You had to keep it clean. You had to keep the brown recluse spiders out of it. That was a thing in St. Louis. I didn't know that until I went to sell my home. And $800 later, I found out how you get rid of them. Yeah, you spend $800. Then eventually one day, you realize half of your house really just exists to store the things that you thought you wanted, that you forgot you owned, and you probably don't have the passwords to anymore anyway. So you're paying electricity for rooms that nobody enters. So when I reduced to this living space that I'm in, secretly, it may have been the greatest financial decision I've ever made. Less stuff, less stress. And I'm at the age where every project starts with one question: will I get this money back? Now, when I was 25, I was all like, yeah, I need a waterfall shower with blue lights that cascade down. Yeah, how much? I don't care. At 50, I'm like, this bathroom does not generate equity. We're not okay here. And that's not excitement. That's like depression with grout. It's not fun. And the realtor says people make huge mistakes when they do expensive renovations before selling. And I'm like, okay, which ones should I do? And before I got to that, they let me know that homeowners think if I spend $40,000 on something specific for the house, then the house should go up $40,000 in value. That's not how it works. That's like putting rims on a Nissan Altima and expecting Sotheby's to get involved. Stop. Kitchens. This article says people lose their minds remodeling kitchens. And it says, don't trust the shows. Every home is not a backsplash away from happiness. Folks spend sometimes 90 grand so strangers can microwave soup differently. Don't replace the kitchen, just do smaller upgrades. Paint the cabinets, put some new hardware in there. Big changes when you put better lighting in there. Smart. Because once construction starts, remember, that's your entire life. Drywall, dust, and regret. I did a project in Tulsa. I bought this condo. And then I got this bright idea, you know what, I can just gut it and make it exactly what I want. And I had a contractor there, and she was like, oh, I'm not going to charge you for this, and that's 13% or whatever. So I started buying the stuff online. I got the guy in there starting working on it. And then I realized, I can't stay here, so I had to rent a place. It was only going to take like 60 days. It took 11 months. Every contractor arrives with the same energy. Oh, it's going to go exactly like we planned. It's going to happen this way, boom, boom, boom. And then the next time you see them, it's a little more like this. Well, we didn't expect that. Didn't think that's going to happen. Even on the shows, it's the same thing. They're halfway through the remodel. They got to go tell the owner, that the water coming out of the ground is cursed and the devil's touched it. And now it's black or something. It's always something. Suddenly, they're trying to remodel your bathroom, and you get done and you've bought yourself a small bass boat. And that's not right. And that don't pay for itself either. Outdoor kitchens. I love outdoor kitchens. I'm so dying to be. I have a cousin of mine that does outdoor kitchens. It's absolutely amazing. He's brilliant. I want him to build me one, but they say that when you put the full thing together, the restaurant complex in your backyard, you got your pizza oven, your stone fireplace, your mini fridge, and your maxi fridge. You got your granite countertops. You're also going to need a running sink with disposal. That's what I'm talking about. That's the setup. And you know how many times you use that according to the realtors? Twice. One 4th of July, and then an awkward playoff party, and most people sat inside because the weather was awful. Realtor also said, if you're going to make bold design choices, you're going to be holding on to that house longer, and that makes all the sense in the world because homeowners get emotional. They start decorating for themselves, which is dangerous. You walk into somebody's house, and suddenly there's purple tile and barn doors and industrial pipes and sinks that are shaped like leaves. You don't want no part of that. Now your house looks like a divorced painter designed it. In fact, I bought a house one time from a painter. This guy had done a lot of really cool things in it. It was beautiful. The colors were stunning. The lighting was incredible. And I bought it. And it took me forever to sell it. One, because in 2008, the economy was not great, certainly in Michigan. And secondarily, it was just so beautiful that you kind of walked in and you were like, I don't want to change this. I think that held back a little bit. I don't know if you saw this too. Wallpaper's coming back. Yeah. About every 20 years or so, we decide, what we should do? Wallpaper returns like a toxic ex. Like I said, every 20 years. When glue patterns on walls, then we're going to spend the next 15 years scraping it off with sadness and regret. And roofs, this one shocked me. Buyers don't expect to get a brand new roof. And that stunned me because roof prices now sound like somebody made them up. A roofer will look you dead in your face and go, yeah, I'll replace that. That's going to sound like when he gives you a number that he's describing yacht ownership, but no, he just looks you face first and goes, $22,000. Sir, you do know that the house has a roof currently, right? I just asked you to reshingle it. The worst part about homeownership is eventually realizing that you're never done. There's always something, a noise. We got a crack. Why is that split in the wall? Oh, that's just, we can just fix that with paint. Oh, can we? We just climb up there and get it. Right now, will we? And then there's a weird smell. Nobody knows where the origin story begins. That ain't good. Homes age like Labradors, you know that every year. There's a new issue, but everybody pretends like it's normal. That's why smaller living equals less maintenance equals less money. Because once you own property, you discover that adulthood is mostly just paying to stop things from becoming other things. That's true. I'm not making that up. And the realtor said, buyers make emotional decisions within minutes. When I walked in my place that I bought in the Loop, I walked in and I was like, yeah, where do I sign? It took me that long. They just remodeled it. All the lighting was brand new. It looked smart. In fact, I already saw what I was going to do. I replaced all the lighting with those Philips Hue bulbs, hashtag not an ad, but all the colors. I was able to redo everything in sync. It all was sick. I was able to do cool stuff in there, and I made a theater downstairs. It was fun. But I didn't walk into that house and go, you know what? This place has excellent pipe integrity. Buying a car used to feel important, but now we can order Jeeps online like it's a Blackstone with leather seats. Carvana is now selling new cars. Yeah, if you're not panicking, it's okay. Car dealerships are. That changes the game for the car dealership biz. Trust me when I tell you, this is not welcome news, because for years, buying a car has meant, sit there for 6 hours, building smells like burnt coffee and desperation, cheap cigarettes. That was the process. You didn't buy the vehicle, you survived the encounter. That was pretty much it. Salesman disappears 14 times, goes find a manager. Rick keeps running the numbers. You're sitting there with Turbo, starving, but Turbo's helping too, right next to the 2009 Carrying Machine. Every dealership somehow has the TV on the Weather Channel with no sound. It's universal. And I'm telling you, by the 15th time I've seen that there's a storm coming to Paducah, why, I've seen it enough. I get it. You walk in, you wanted a truck. 30 minutes later, you're discussing APR like you're testifying before Congress. That's why Carvana exploded. It's not just the slot machine of cars, which was sick. People realized, hold on a minute, I can buy a car without having to wear khakis and act like I'm negotiating. That's kind of cool. This is not an ad for Carvana. Younger people specifically do not enjoy confrontation. If you hadn't figured this out, spend 5 minutes with it. It's not what they do. That's why self-checkout exists. It's not for me. It's for young people, because half of America would prefer to accidentally pay for 12 avocados than to tell a waiter that their fries are cold. See, that's how we work today. And we're going to give them a 20% tip on top of it because we're stupid. We need to say something. Maybe it's just me, but I get it. Carvana also got it, and they got away from the haggling, the sales pressure. Oh, just click, click, click. Car arrives. Or you want to sell yours? Great. We'll give you a number. Click, click, click. Truck shows up. They'll pick it up. And remember, I told my boy this the other day. He has a convertible. He has a Miata. I love Miatas. They're so much fun. But he's much younger than me, clearly. And so he has had his for a few years, and he thought, I want to sell it. And a couple of months back, Carvana offered him $14,900. And I was like, bro, stop. That's not enough money, and those things are cyclical. Give them a minute. Wait till springtime. Sure enough, they offered him $17,100 for it in spring. Just saying, Cars are cyclical. They go up and down with seasons, especially convertibles. All of this is terrifying old school dealers because dealerships have had their way with us for a long time. They've controlled the experiment. Now, like I said, we can buy Jeeps online the same way we buy rice cookers. Amazon, I talked about this the other day, they're getting into it. Of course they are. This is like a $3.9 trillion business or something. It's amazing. Imagine ordering a truck, getting the notification, your Ram 1500's been delivered near the Azaleas. Rate your driver. That's the future. And part of me gets it. I love cars. I always have. I talk about them all the time. Dealerships are exhausting. I still love to purchase cars, but they're exhausting. Buying a car is the only purchase where everybody involved acts suspicious. We're all suspect. No one trusts anybody like dealing with the mafia. The trade, oh no, they're lying. They're definitely lying about that. Dealership, oh, they're lying about the fees too. I'm definitely lying about my trade. No, I've never been harsh on it at all. It's never been smoked in either. There's a cigarette burning the seat. I don't know how that happened. Must have happened when one of y'all test drove it. Wasn't there when I got here. The finance manager is probably trying to sell you windshield insurance or something stupid. Everybody's exhausted by hour 3 in the car deal. You know that. You want to go home. The article said one dude spent $1,200 to have them drop off a Jeep in that hillbilly neighborhood place wherever he was so that he didn't have to deal with a dealership at all. Like, he didn't want to deal with them. Somewhere, I think it was early 1991. Buddy of mine and I bought a car. I bought a BMW, and he bought a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am with the V8 and the T-tops. It was sick. And he spent all day at work faxing back and forth, you heard me, faxing back and forth to the dealership on the numbers he would pay, and boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, he had himself a car. And I thought, that was sick. So that was forever and a day ago. Nobody has enjoyed this experience in a long time. We would rather pay freight charges than to listen to someone say, I'm going to need to go ask my manager. Just that sentence raises my blood pressure, probably does yours too. And these dealerships are mad because Carvana can sell cars nationwide. Now that makes sense for Carvana, but it's a big old problem for a dealership. And it's really, we'll say this harshly, but it's not fair to dealerships. It's not. Because this company can ship nationwide. It's like a Netflix for Dodge Chargers. When dealerships advertise, they're regional, right? In North Carolina, and I was staying in West Virginia doing a interview for a job that I ultimately didn't take because it was West Virginia. And so I didn't take the job, but I did learn a lot during that period. Like, they had a really good deal on a Nissan 4-wheel drive, and back then I was like, sure, I want to pick one up, because I knew even though I didn't take this job, I'd be working soon. So they had it at an incredible deal, but I couldn't buy it, obviously, because I was outside of that area. My address was. Car dealerships have been forced to play under those rules. In fact, I was wanting to lease a Lexus one time from a dealership I'd worked with in the past, and we had to get a clearance for it because I was outside of their area. Cars have been for sale on eBay for a long time. New cars, that hasn't completely revolutionized. Still got it wrong, didn't I? Revolutionized. Whatever, it's not going to come out right today, apparently. It hasn't completely changed the game. My dad ordered one online many, many years ago, and he got a great deal. He bid on it. He got a good price from a dealership. They shipped it over for $300. It was a fabulous car. It was beautiful. All of this technology is removing friction, right? Movie stores, gone. Travel agents, mostly gone. Cashiers, nervous. And now car salespeople are looking at it thinking, dang, maybe the future's not as bright as we thought it was. And that kind of makes me sad, too, because like I said, I like buying cars, and there are good car salespeople. I did it for a little while. I was not trying to cheat people. It's just a tough business to be in because the dealership's lying to their salespeople too. Most people don't know this, and you may already, and I'm going to get through it quickly, but basically the more they sell, the more units they move. Every time they go over a goal, they end up paying fewer dollars for each of the units behind it. So if they reach their quotas, that's good for them and it doesn't impact you at all. But it can at the end of the month if they need one or two to make the quota. You'll see some things like you've never seen. I've seen them lose $1,500 on the original price just to hit that number because everything drops back $1,500 and they broke even on that one, but they made money on all the rest of them. Car people like me are storytellers. Car salesmen are storytellers. They love engines. They love features. They love performance, history. Good salespeople make car buying fun. The problem is those bad experiences are legendary, and we've all had them. And there's always horror stories enough on the internet to go around. Today's people don't want to talk on the phone anymore. They don't want to spend 6 hours eating stale popcorn at a Chrysler dealership. They're not going to do that. They want to click a button and they want to call it. Like, we're done. Track and delivery, and then, boop, there it is. Like DoorDash, it shows up. No negotiation, no pressure, no weird sales tactics on new cars. I'm all for that. Transparent pricing, convenience, okay. The dealerships used to be alive. Sometimes they were the brightest things in your neighborhood. You could drive down the road and not see anything, and then all of a sudden the lights of a dealership lit up. I was in the radio and TV business. I spent almost every weekend of my adult life on a car lot trying to sell some kind of car for these folks. Now the future is silent websites, digital paperwork, a truck quietly dropping off your SUV while you're eating cereal inside. It's efficient. It's absolutely cool. But I wonder what happens when we automate everything and all our human interaction goes away, because one day you're going to buy a $70,000 truck online and realize the only person that you spoke to all week was Siri. And she gave you Wikipedia results for temperature. You just wanted a number. Thank you for your time today. Hope you got a laugh out of today's show, and I appreciate you subscribing, liking, sharing if you got this far. Again, thank you. My name is Bud Ford, at Bud Ford.